we were looking at how we can add additional body parts for our animal. So, suppose in our with our ladybug here, we want to add a few more pieces like wings. How do we do that? So let's get into this. The first thing you're going to notice is when you go to your dashboard and you go to actor types, you're going to see that there is a collection of the different body parts of the ladybug here. So what you will need to do is you're going to need to create your own body part. So I'm going to add ladybug new part. Okay. Of course, this would probably be wings or whatever else you choose to add. Okay, so name that appropriately, and we're going to create that. Now, for this particular demonstration, I'm just going to use a screenshot that I've made. Check that your scaling is at 1 times. For a lot of you guys, the default is 4 times. So make sure you go back to 1 times. That will keep its original settings. Okay, and what we're going to do is I'm going to use this icon here, and I'm going to open that up. Okay, so this is going to be the image that we use. Now, yours is probably going to look better in the final product, but I just want to use this as a demonstration. So we're going to add that in, and we've got an image here for our new ladybug body part. Next, let's go and dive into the code so we can close this. I'm going to close this off as well. Okay, and what we're going to need to do is we need to insert or copy this particular piece of code. Now, you'll notice that this is sort of the way these drag and drop things behave. If you drag one piece, it'll take everything below that. So what we actually want to do is we want to grab the very last piece and we want to duplicate it. So there's 2 bits of code. There's this chunk of code here where you can see there's different ladybug parts here, and there's this last little bit of code. Okay, so we're going to have to duplicate both of those. So I'm going to drag this out first. So just going to scroll over. Now, if you are on a Mac and you haven't changed your settings, this is going to be a 2-finger tap like that. Okay, and you're going to have to go down here to duplicate. So we're going to duplicate this piece of code. You're going to reattach it, and you're going to reattach it back to the original. So now there's 5 pieces here. Now, naturally, you'll need to reset the numerical values so that it's divided into 5 different parts. Your math teacher will assist you with that, obviously. And of course, this is not going to be set ladybug right leg because we've got 2 of those. Okay, now I'm just going to quickly maybe modify this. So suppose this is up to 64. Let's say it actually goes up to a little higher. Let's say to like 96. So this might be go from 65 to 96. Okay, so they'll have slightly different percentages. Okay, and for now, I'm just going to remove this piece so we don't get ourselves confused. Oh, and it's reattached itself. Hold on, I'm going to give myself a little bit more room here. Okay, and I'm just going to trash that. Okay, trash it. There we go. Okay, I'm going to do the same down here. So again, don't start at the beginning. Get the very last piece, pull that out, and do that 2-finger tap, like so. And then we're going to duplicate that. I'm going to go a little bit faster now. Reattach it, and back to the original, like so. Okay, and just for safety, I'm going to pull this out, and I'm going to trash this. Okay, now, since we've already created our new ladybug part, I can actually click on this. I'm going to choose the actor type, and I should have access to the new ladybug part right here, okay? Of course, as I said, yours would look a little better if it was a pair of wings or maybe a tail. Okay, so for now, I'm just going to select that. Now, the next thing we're going to need to do is to replace this stuff in purple, where it says ladybug antenna, ladybug body, ladybug left leg, and so on. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to game attributes on the far right-hand side. Okay, game attributes. And notice that there are what are called getters and setters. And I just want you to have a look at the shape of it now. So getters have this particular shape like this, okay? And setters have this particular shape, okay? And if you do a comparison, what's up here is our setter, right? That looks very similar, okay? And what's down here is our getter, okay? And if you scroll down, you'll notice that there is no ladybug new body part or wings or whatever it is that you're trying to create. So we're gonna have to create our own. So just scroll back up here using the scroll bar, and you can click on Create New Game Attribute. And we're going to create what's called a Boolean attribute, which is the computer science term for a true or false value. So again, I'm just going to name it Ladybug New Part. Okay. Now I know some of you guys might think this is kind of funny how we have like upper and lowercase letters. The reason for that is that every new word, rather than using spaces, because in programming we don't like to use spaces, so in order to distinguish the different words, we use a capital letter for every new word. Okay, so new part, right? So N is capitalized. We capitalize the first letter of that word, okay? And P is capitalized. And you can leave that as false. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to say OK. Now, as you can see here, I don't see Ladybug New Part. Actually, no, I do see Ladybug New Part. Okay. For some of you guys know, I know Stencyl has this particular bug where when you create the new game attribute, it's not going to show up here right away. Okay, the simple fix for that is you need to close this off, which I'm going to do right now. So if you can't see it, just close your current tab down. So I'm going to close my Dice 12, and I'm just going to reopen it. Okay, and when you go back to game attributes, it'll appear there. And I'm wishing I didn't do that because it's taking so long to load. Okay, we're going to go back to events. Okay, and I'm going to go back to game attributes. Okay, and if you do scroll down here, as I said, if it doesn't show up, it will show up now. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to start up here with the setter. Okay, notice the shape. So we're going to get Ladybug New Part. Okay, drag that over here, right? And in order to get the true value here, all you need to do is click on it, go to comparison, and you're going to see the true value up here. Okay, and lastly down here, we're going to go to getters, right? Again, notice the shape. Okay, we're going to grab Ladybug New Part, and we're going to attach that down here. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so I'm going to test this out. Now that has a maximum value of 96, so I probably need something bigger because my original was 6. So I'm going to do maybe 9. 9 times 9 is 81. So I'll maybe shorten that to 81 instead of 96. Oops, 81. 81. Okay, good. Okay, and I'm just going to run that. I decided to properly make the new part of the bug in this part of the video. And so you can see that on here right now. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little bug and, well, a bug in terms of the problem, and I'm going to show you how to fix that. So I'm going to do a few more rerolls here. And you can see when I clicked on this, those wings kind of separated. And I'm just going to click it a few more times. You can kind of see that's a little bit odd, right? And it doesn't happen with the other parts of the bug now. Of course, I'm not getting any other parts of the bug. And okay, so that's getting really weird. So how do we fix this? What's going on here? Okay, so back in Stencyl, as I mentioned, I've replaced the Ladybug New Part. This is now the wings, so I'm not going to bother renaming it, but the picture is more easier to identify. And what's happening here is that we need to go under physics, and we got to tell the game that this body part cannot move. What we also want to do is we want to go into collision, and my original item was pretty big, so I'm just going to change that. This shouldn't happen for you guys. It should be at the default size, but what's really important is that you want to check is a sensor. So there's two things we want to do. Physics, cannot move. Collision, tick this box, is a sensor. You'll find that all of the other bug parts, I'm just going to click on one of these, have exactly what I just went over with you. So I just want to explain the importance of that. Right, so as the sensor ticked, physics cannot move. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to test this game one more time, and just to verify that this doesn't happen when we click on that. And so it should be reloading right now. Just going to close that off. All right, there is one more thing after this in terms of the coding, which I'll get to very shortly. Okay, so I'm just going to do a few clicks here. Got the leg, got the antenna, got more of the same, more of the same, more of the same. Come on. There we go. Okay, so we got the wings. Okay, and I'm going to spam click on that, and that looks pretty good. You can see that it's disappearing each time I re-roll the dice. So we're going to figure out what's going on there. Okay, so what we've essentially done is we've told the computer to draw the wings. It is in the back. Now, if you want the wings to cover up things, you might need to rearrange the order of this. What appears on top gets drawn behind, and what gets drawn last appears in front. So you do want to make sure that whatever you want to layer on top appears at the bottom. So if I want the wings to be on top of everything else, that needs to go on the bottom rather than at the top. Okay? If I put it on top, the wings are going to get covered up by everything else. The other thing that we saw was that the wings kept on disappearing each time I re-rolled the dice. So what's going on there is you do need to go back to your dashboard and go into scenes. And I'm going to open up the dice roll here. And we're going to go over here on the side where it says created. And you can see there's 4 things here. And what we'll need to do is we'll need to add the very last one, which is the wings. So again, I'm going to pull that out, 2 fingers together, tap, and then we're going to do a duplicate, reattach that, put that back together. Okay, and I'm going to pull this piece out. We've already talked about this a little bit earlier in the video. We need to find the getter for new part. And then I'm going to select the wings here instead. Okay, select the wings, say OK. All right. So just as a demonstration, I'm going to purposely put this wing on top. And so the wings are going to get covered up by everything else. So I'm going to test this one last time. Okay, so let's give this a try. Good. Do a few more rolls. Good. There's the wings. Okay, and it's staying. And I'm going to see if I can get the. There you go. Get the shell. Okay. So now the shell's on top of the wing. Okay, as I explained, that's because of the ordering of this. What appears on top? Or sorry, what's on the top of the list gets drawn first, so it gets covered up by what gets drawn later on in this list. So if we want the wings to appear on top of the bug, then that actually needs to go at the bottom of this list. Okay, so I am going to test this out one last time, and the wings. Okay, so there is the wings. Okay, so the wings is appearing on top. And you see there's actually a little bit of misalignment with the way it's showing up. When it clears everything, it's actually following a different order, which is what's in dice 12. It's following this order. So during this part, the wing gets drawn behind, but when we hit the re-roll button, the wing gets drawn at the bottom. So that's why you see that sometimes the wing is appearing behind and sometimes it's appearing in front. So you want to make sure both of these are perfectly aligned. Okay, I'm not going to click on this anymore. I think I've proved the point. You can definitely try this out yourself and see what kind of results you get.